lovely Abbie Dagrin, and welcome back to my channel, lovelies. Today I'll be continuing a series on my channel that deals with natal charts, and today I'll be doing one on Adam Levine. I'll be speaking on his personality traits, his characteristic traits. I will also be speaking on how a lot of his placements have led to his success and a lot of the things that have happened to him lately. So please stay tuned for the rest of my channel, lovelies. If you have not yet become a part of the Abbie Dagrin family, then this is your calling to do so. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you know when I upload videos on the daily. Also, please make sure you hit that like button because I know you guys will love this video. And also, please make sure you share this video with everyone you know, whether it's your friends, your family members, your enemies, anyone in general who really loves this content or really appreciates this. Now let's get right into the video. Adam Levine was born on March 18th, 1979, so this qualifies him to be a Pisces. And with this placement, Pisces tend to be very good people. They tend to be very intuitive, and they tend to be people who are very compassionate, very romantic, very artistic, intensely empathetic, and they do tend to be sensitive. They are also the type of people who will make sure that everyone around them is great. And with his creative endeavors, it makes sense because having a Pisces sun, that's why he's into music and why he's actually great at music. They could also be, since they're a mutable sign, the type of people who do change their emotions, or one moment they feel one way and another moment they feel another way, and at times they can be detached. Next up is his moon in Scorpio, and with this placement he tends to be someone who does not really show his emotions. He's someone who's very secretive in regards to what he does, and he's someone who doesn't really like to make people know his next move. At times it can be hard for them to express how they feel because they don't feel as though they need to reveal that. They're also the type of people who are very mysterious, they're charismatic, they're very deep, they're very self-confident, they're very reserved, they are very possessive, they're very passionate, they are very resilient as well. They can be very intense, and they can be good psychiatrists or psychologists because they know how to get into somebody's mind and make sure that they're able to understand it. So this is why he is the way he is in regards to his emotions. Up next is his Mercury and Aries, and with this placement he tends to be very bold in his speaking. He's going to be honest as to how he feels, and he's going to have a sharp mind and fiery speeches. So he's always going to have something to say. He's always going to know what to say. And sometimes he can make a mistake of saying something he may not mean, or anyone with this placement, because sometimes they speak before thinking. They're very positive, they're enthusiastic, they're witty, they can be sarcastic, they do have a forceful voice, they can be impulsive in their speaking, he can be impatient, he can be frank and to the point, and he's very blunt. He has a verbal seduction, and he's the person who will not beat around the bush. He usually talks about himself and his viewpoints. He wants answers now, and he's the type of person who has convictions that he will not change. Next up is his Venus in Aquarius, and with this placement, he tends to be someone who wants friendship in a relationship. So he's not the type of person who wants the regular type of relationship, and at times it can be hard for people to really get in a relationship with someone with this placement because Venus and Aquarius placement, they can be very, very loyal to you. However, they also are very honest, so if they don't feel like they're feeling you, then they'll be honest and let you know. So sometimes you can have your heart all out for them and they do not feel the same way, and that's why it can be very heartbreaking when it comes to them. But they want someone who gives them individuality, excitement, freedom, common goals, and friendship, and that's something that's very important to them. Next up, you guys, is his Mars in Pisces, and with this placement, he's the type of person who loves expressing himself and going after things with love and compassion, and he's also someone who is very gentle, and he's someone who can stand out too far. He is likely to feel guilt surrounding anger and repressing negative emotions at first. Decision making can be hard for him because he does not always want to do what other people want. He has at times a passive aggressive attitude that a lot of people may not like. And he's also someone who is very active in his imagination. He does have an indulgent lust, and he is someone who can be procrastinating at times. He loves to assert himself in certain situations, and he can be very sensitive and vulnerable. Next up is his Jupiter in Cancer. And with this placement, he tends to be someone who is very instinctive, and he's great at attracting good luck and good fortune in regards to his instinctive ways. At times, he can be easily influenced into doing one thing or another thing, but he is very devoted when he really likes something. And he's going to make sure that he's very receptive as to what other people want to say or what they do. Also with this placement, he's someone who is going to make sure that he finds a solution to a problem and that things always work out for him. He's also someone who loves to be involved in doing things that are great for others. And that's the reason why he has a lot of humor and optimism, and that's what really backs his life, because with that optimism and humor, he's able to make the decisions that he would like to make. Next up is his Saturn in Virgo. And with this placement, he tends to be someone who's very picky and stubborn and can bring a lot of problems his way. He's very intelligent and practical, but he's also someone who is a perfectionist, and he will always focus on the smallest things in life instead of looking at the bigger picture sometimes. And sometimes this can stunt his growth, because sometimes going at a situation is what needs to happen. And instead of just looking at something and making sure it's perfect, you should probably put something out that you can improve later. But sometimes a lot of people with this placement will look at something and want it to be so perfect that they never put it out. And if they did put it out, you would never know if it would do something great for you or beneficial. So that's something that he does need to work on, and something that Saturn really teaches him. Next up is his Uranus and Scorpio. And with this placement, he tends to be a rebel and is always going against the grain to come up with new ideas that are very insightful for his generation or people who really listen to him. He is someone who demands a confrontist attitude in regards to life and the deepest and most meaningful levels. He's very compulsive and obsessive in his approach to everything. He will avoid anything that is casual or superficial, especially when it comes to relationships. He will seek out and explore new methods of healing, as well as different ways to deal with deep-seated emotional problems. And this is something that makes sense, because with that being said, he does rebel against a lot of things in society, especially in music, and he does things that a lot of people may not agree with or may not approve of. Next up is his Neptune and Sagittarius. And with this placement, he tends to thrive on a variety of uplifting things, exciting things, experiences, and learning new things as well. That's something that he really likes and he wants to do in life, is by learning from others. He's also someone who has very great psychic powers and a great sense of perception. He loves freedom and independence in life. Most of the people who have this placement have a better understanding of life, but some might turn into an emotional state. They love to have fun, and joy and adventure attracts him. They are individuals who crave individuality in life, and they're the types of people who can work very hard in order for them to change society's viewpoints on certain situations, and they just want to make sure that they have fun in this lifetime and that things go great for them. Next up is his Pluto in Libra, and he's able to get this placement because he was born between 1972 and 1984, so he is a part of Generation Y. He's someone who loves harmony and symmetry and agreement and pleasantness. He's someone who likes to talk about transformed relationships and global politics. He wants to always find a common ground and cooperation in regards to things, and that's something that he really likes to do. He is for someone who likes to change someone's attitude towards marriage and interpersonal relationships. And he has the general fear and awe of power inherent in making emotional or contractual commitments that will not be entered into lightly. So the fact that his marriage is being tested shows that Pluto in Libra is really working for him. Next up is his North Node in Virgo. And in order for him to really accomplish his goal in this lifetime and get the talents and gifts he needs, he will need to do these things: participation, bringing order to chaos, creating routines, focusing on the here and now, acting on feelings of compassion, being of service to others, analyzing and categorizing, gaining self-confidence through experience, having moderation, taking risk in spite of fears, noticing and valuing details, accepting the reality of daily life, learning the way of the healer, healing others with their pain and healing himself, connecting to his inner perfection, pursue life with clarity, learn to be modest, practical, and precise, and know his talents as well. Next up is his Chiron in Taurus, and with this placement he tends to have the wound of neglect. So maybe at a young age he felt as though he was neglected either emotionally, physically, or financially. So now that he's older, he's going to make sure that he is going to do things that make sure he's not neglectful. So in this Taurus placement, he may buy new things, he may spend money on a lot of things that he probably does not need. So he may go out and beyond. However, it's important for him to know that he needs to take care of himself, because it can go both ways. Sometimes he will just not take care of himself at all. But with this placement, he needs to know that it is okay for him to buy himself new things, but make sure he's not overdoing it, and make sure that the things he buys are valuable, and know that he deserves to live a life of luxury and live a beautiful life as well. Next up is his ascendant/rising in Leo, and with this placement, he tends to be very confident in who he is. He's very expressive. He tends to be very creative and very warm-hearted. He's someone who's very charismatic and can be generous. He is someone who's very bossy, and he can be very entitled as well in regards to what he wants in life. He's someone who's very magnetic, and he attracts attention a lot. He's self-aware of things that affects others. He's prone to temper tantrums and jumping to conclusions. He can appear bossy or dramatic. He tends to over-exaggerate. He's typical at speaking his mind. He can be stubborn and tenacious, and he may find it difficult to take advice. He may have a problem overdoing things or overworking, but he is very confident in himself and who he is as a person. And last but not least is his Midheaven in Taurus. With this placement, he tends to be someone who really wants to be in a career that has longevity and a career that's going to be there for him for a long time. He's someone who's very consistent in his career, and he's very reliable. He can be very tactful, very pleasant, and very resourceful in regards to his career. And he's the person that will tough it out. He loves being in charge. He loves spotting an opportunity. He's someone who may have the struggles of admitting defeat, delegating anything, and changing his mind. And it makes sense because he is a fixed sign. He's also someone who is very consistent and persistent. And that's something that has probably led to why he's very successful in his career, because that persistency is something that has really helped him and something that has really made him the successful person he is today. That's all I have for you lovelies in regards to Adam Levine's natal chart. Please let me know down below how you felt about it. Did you get a better understanding as to who he is as a person? Or please let me know down below which placements you feel as though really describes him the most as to who he is as a person. And please also let me know who else you guys would want me to do a natal chart analysis down below. Also hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell, and that share button. And if you have not yet followed me on all of my social media accounts, please make sure you're doing so, from my Pinterest down to my TikTok. And also support my Etsy store and my PayPal. They're all linked down below. I love you all. Please stay safe and healthy. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, lovelies.